Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are doing well today. Here's another one of my presentations. Today, I will be presenting my interest for our final project, and what I the idea I kind of came up with would be a solar panel add-on for EVs. Well, as we all know what EVs are, electric vehicles, and they're very big right now. It's a new technology, so they're constantly being redeveloped, tweaked up, and just tweaked to make them more efficient, to make them better. And while there's many companies already trying to experiment with a solar powered electric vehicle, I figured, what about all the existing EVs? Well, we can create a solar panel add-on for these EVs. So what's the problem with a lot of the EVs today? Well, many EVs have to be charged at charging stations and into a power source to charge the battery. Now, this can take anywhere between 2 to 3 hours if you're like a official charging station, or if you just plug it into an outlet at the house, that can take anywhere between 6 to 12 hours. It's a long time, and most of these EVs don't get any much better range than the gasoline vehicles. Most EVs average between 250 to 350 miles. However, there's a lot of factors that can affect this mileage, including outside temperatures. So whether it's hot or cold outside, I know sometimes when it's cold, below freezing temperatures, it can significantly reduce the mileage. If you're using the climate controls like the AC and heater, that'll use up more power. And there's just so much factors that can reduce the mileage, and this creates what's known as range anxiety. Many people with EVs, they experience range anxiety because, like I mentioned, your dash might say that you have 300 miles. However, that can turn into 220 miles real quick, unexpectedly. And as we know, charging stations are not as common as gasoline stations. So if you're traveling through, well, first of all, it wouldn't be really feasible for long range travel. So if you're driving from the Bay Area to LA County, which normally that might be like a 5 to 6 hour drive. However, if you're in an EV, accounting for charging stops, that might add up to 2 3 hours to your time, to your travel time. And if you're trying to travel through somewhere like the Midwest, where it's remote locations, you're gonna have a fun time trying to find somewhere to charge your EV. So what's a potential solution? Well, a solar panel add-on kit that can be installed onto any EV and plugged directly into the charging port. The only equipment you would need would be to have a roof slash luggage rack, whatever you call it. You can mount it directly onto that. Now this will extend the vehicle range through a feature that I like to call charge as you go. So for obvious reasons, you can't really drive an EV while it's plugged into a charger. However, with the new software, this will overwrite that program, and it will allow the car to not recognize the solar panel as a charging station, but more so just like a add-on feature. So it'll let you drive while it's plugged into the solar panel. It would also be easy to remove and or install. So we all know how solar panel works, but a quick summary is, as we all know, a solar panel, it takes in energy from the sun, converts it into electricity, and then when connected to a battery, it can charge that battery, and then the battery can store that electricity, that energy. And if you look to the left, these are all the parts of a solar panel. As you can see, it's got an aluminum frame, tempered glass, some back sheets, solar cells. It's essentially just a big piece of glass, as we all know. Now, although this could be pretty useful, I like with many things, there would also be some cons. Some cons I can think of right now off the top of my head would be that, well, it can be fragile. As stated, it's just a big piece of glass, and having a big piece of glass mounted on the roof of your car, well, it's exposed to a lot of things like the elements, debris, and just anything. So it can potentially be damaged easily. Now the price. My idea would to keep this in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. For some people that might not be a lot, but for some it may be. Another thing is that it may look ugly to some people, which I might agree it can, as it's an afterthought feature that you just slap onto the roof of your car, and it'll take up space. So, like as I mentioned, it will be mounted onto the roof rack. So if you previously used that luggage rack for luggage, if you have this solar panel installed, you wouldn't be able to use it to store any luggage up there, obviously. But that's why I mentioned that it would be easy to remove and install as needed. Here are some examples. They're not great, but these are examples generated through AI. Just an idea of what it might look like. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have a good day.